YouTube. I'm trying to go ahead and get rid of that before it goes flat. I've had it for a while. I haven't really been drinking it. I haven't really been drinking it good. I've been trying to make this damn video. But the point is, I've been researching, looking up stuff, and so forth. But this is going to be a video on pretty much the artificial room, I guess. I didn't really know what direction this video was going to go on when I first started, like what direction this video was going to go in when I first started making or developing plans to make the video. I didn't really know. But yeah, it's going to be on the artificial room. But I guess I'm going to begin this with something from your Bible. The Bible. Dr. Seuss Bible. No. Anyways. Let's see how this is gonna go. Okay. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will set upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And by the way, I could probably have recited that, a lot of that by memory, because that is one of the few parts of the Bible I like, until the end. Talking their shit again, but I mean, nevertheless, yeah, and that is really pretty much the case. I believe in the ascension of the species, and I think that a lot of my religion has to do with willpower, and a lot of it has to do with believing in yourself. And I think that's one of the things the authorities and the power structure that control the world don't want. And if you look throughout the Bible, or rather if you look in the Bible, it is just absolutely full of stories of God oppressing and suppressing the human race. And I'm talking mainly now about the Old Testament. I mean, if you read some of the New Testament, it's not all bad. There's some good stuff in the New Testament. Now, granted, they stole a lot of the good stuff from other religions. A lot of it came from Egyptian mythology and from Buddhism. But nevertheless, the New Testament is not all bad. But regardless, nevertheless, if you hear about stories like the Tower of Babel, the Tower of Babel or Babylon, and King Nimrod, who, by the way, supposedly this was actually initially one of the things, along with Prometheus. Prometheus was a Greek myth, but along with that this was one of the things that gave us our modern concept or modern idea of a Lucifer or Satan. But that was pretty much a lot of what I believe in. I'm going to go into detail about that in a minute. But again, they were all one people, all one language, and they were in one nation, and they were starting to really reach the peak of their possibilities. And then this very tyrannical being that you call God, he intervenes to knock them all down. And it's actually quite disgusting when you stop and think about it. The flood. You had the story of the Great Flood, and on it goes, and the genocide and the slaughter of the Canaanites, and it's actually quite a disgusting book. I mean, if you are a Jew, Christian, or Muslim, Muslims actually love the Quran. I don't know if the Quran's as bad as the Bible, but the point is, you really need to stop and read your fucking book. You have no idea how horrible and disgusting that fucking book is. You really need to stop and fucking read it. It's not the New Testament, not Jeebus. I mean the Old Testament. And by the way, at the end of the Old Testament, but at the end of the New Testament, what does it say? All who do not believe in me will be thrown into a fiery lake of fire, fiery lake of hell. So pretty much he shows his true nature. Jesus, or God, shows his true nature, and he turns out to be the same tyrannical monster he was all along, and he was all the time anyways. So he goes back to the same fucking thing. all that shit about do unto others and love thy neighbor, at the end of the day, at the end of it all, it doesn't mean anything. It goes right back, it returns right back to the same thing, because there's no Satan now. I've got nobody to kind of challenge me. There's no competition. It's kind of like when WCW went out of business. There's no WCW anymore. Russo ain't got no damn job. It's just the fucking WWE. And it's like, we're PG. We're going to go PG now, and we're going to promote feminism, and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, it was the same damn thing with God and the Bible. There's no Satan anymore. There's no one to fight me or to challenge me, and no one for you to choose. So it's all me, and so it's my way or the highway. And it's he says, that's in your stupid fucking book, okay? But anyways, whether that's what you want to hear or not, that's the truth. The point is, again, this is supposed to be about the artificial room. I got a little off track, but I guess, I give it all pretty much in my main goal, my main focus in life, and what I have kind of given myself over to, and what I believe in completely in 100% is the ideal of and or the support of one race, one gender, especially one gender, by the way, because this current gender system is not working. And I don't really necessarily think, like, from an instinctual point of view, we have to have one gender, but it's gonna be the highway. This is one thing, like, we're either going to do this, or, like, you people are never going to get along. I see that now. But one race, one gender, one language, one people, one nation, one people, and no borders. And we will all be one. The world will live as one, and we will be in a union, or one eye, the eye of Horus, eye of Lucifer, union, and it's one eye, like on the back of dollar bill, the eye of Lucifer, eye of Horus, or the eye of Osiris, watching over the world. We will be Lucifer, and we will finally have a world. We will be with Lucifer, and we will finally have a world where that is fit for Lucifer to reign over, or to dwell in. We will finally have a world fit for Lucifer to reign over. So that is really the point. And beyond that, I want to talk about shattering, the real glass ceiling. None of this, not any of this feminist bullshit. But I'm talking about this shattering the glass dome, because if you read the Bible, and of course I mean this completely metaphorically, because if you believe the Bible, and of course it's all a bunch of horseshit. I'm talking about philosophy here mostly, but either way, regardless, if you read the Bible, it talks about the world being a glass dome, and supposedly it keeps out water. If you shatter that, water will come in. So I'm talking metaphorically, but that is what your leaders, the rulers, the maintainers and controllers and manipulators of this matrix, like, thing that we're living in. If you have ever seen the Matrix, that is a very good metaphor or anomaly for what we're living in. But they keep us each walled off from one another, so we can't really get together. We can't really talk. We can't really have a conversation about the issues, and that is really the disease that we have in this planet that has to be cured. Because from that you get things like Nazis and Nazism, and you get things like communism, and you get things like feminists, and you get the radical Muslims and all the bad things in the world that comes from us not being able to have a real dialogue and talk to one another. We're not allowed or able, and we're really not allowed, I don't think, one-on-one to just have a conversation in this fucking country. They keep us walled off with their beliefs and their customs and their rules and their concepts. And think about how disgusting these rules and customs, concepts, and beliefs are. When you're born, it's like John Lennon said, instead of giving you no time, they give you no time instead of it all. And when you're born, they literally torture you, and they cut the flesh from your fucking cock. They're literally torturing you for seemingly no fucking reason. And no one knows what fucking damage that does to a person psychologically. And America has the highest autism rate of any country in the world. And if you don't think that has something to do with it, you're out of your mind. Then again, I have seen other other videos and stuff that says that Asperger's, at least Asperger's, is one specific form of autism, though it's a low functioning form of autism, and that's actually what I have, is a very low functioning form of autism, and it's called Asperger's. So I'm not like completely fucked up out of my mind. It's still not easy to deal with, but supposedly that's the next step, or rather, that is the next step in human evolution, and that is very possible. I don't doubt that. But and we don't see things like other people, and we think for ourselves. We tend to think for ourselves. We are not people pleasers, and we're not here to please you. We're here to think for ourselves, and that is what too few people are in this world right now, or are here for. They always want to kiss someone else's ass, and you're pretty much kissing the ass of people who literally mutilated your body when you were born, and you spend your entire life working these odd jobs for them for very little money, from the moment of birth to the moment of death. And the fact that we have the highest age in this country, the highest age limit in this country, and it's a little bit lower for men, and that's actually good for us, by the way, because I'm talking about that now, actually, being to the point. The fact that you're living longer is still 1 minute. The fact that you're living longer so that you can the fact that you're living longer so that you can work for other people, I mean, that's actually a condemnation. I mean, that's a punishment almost. It's like, who the hell wants to live longer in this fucking country? And for men, men live 8 years shorter than women on average. I think it's 8 years or something like that, and that's a good thing. Like, let's get this fucking horror show over, and men in my opinion, men suffer worse than women. So it's good that we die sooner, because I mean, our lives absolutely suck, and it's the drizzling shits. So that's good to get that over with. But the point is, one thing that is good about the world that is happening or starting to come about is that corporations don't prevent this, and religion, especially these fucking religious assholes like I just got done talking about. If you can stop that and or prevent that from happening, is the artificial room. The artificial room will be able to do a lot of what I want to see done or get done in the world, and it will also solve the problem of feminism, I believe. But it will get a lot of what I want done in the world, and it will change the world greatly. And it will, one thing it will do is it will make women hate men less. I think a lot of women hate men. I think part of that has to do with childbirth. The women are the ones who have to carry the child. They have to carry children. They have to carry the child until birth. They have to give birth. They have to have it in there, have this fucking thing in them for 9 months. They have to birth the kid. It's painful. And of course, men make medication. We make medicine and stuff to try to help stop the pain. We try to make it easy for them, but they still have to go through with that. And I think they carry a lot of resentment and hatred of, us males in them for that reason. So getting rid of this would stop that. And that still does not, like, I know that some people have used that as a reason, like, if women have to have kids, then when boars are born, they should be mutilated because women have to have kids. Again, we didn't choose this. Like, this is part of my point. We didn't choose this, and we're trying to do every damn thing we can in our power to make that no longer the case. We are trying to make it where women don't have kids anymore. So don't fucking blame us for that, and especially don't blame your fucking kid. If you don't want a kid, you don't have to have a kid. And I understand it sucks to have a kid, and I'm not saying that's okay, but that's got nothing to do with us. That's either God or Mother Nature or whatever you choose to believe in, but don't blame me and don't blame males. But regardless of that, either way, the point is, or the fact is, it would solve that problem. And the other damn thing it would solve is gender. This is the entire gender system. There'll be no more race gaps, or like race, whatever, gender discrimination in pay. If you think there is some, there will be no more issues for men or women like genital mutilation. There will be no more war, no more one gender goes to war, no more some dude beat his wife. You won't have any of that, because we could potentially end gender forever, because we could all be the same gender, literally biological gender, like literally the same biological gender and or the same biological sex. We could all be an androgynous creature, and you could completely drop out and eliminate gender, and that would be literally like you're getting it closer to paradise. And that is the thing in the Bible that God hated so damn much that he shattered the nations, and he scattered the nations, and he fucked up our language, And he cut Lucifer down to Sheol, or the Jewish underworld, pretty much. And it's absolutely disgusting that this religion is founded on the concept that human beings should suffer, and we will suffer and suffer. Your fucking religion is about suffering, and you're fucking believing this shit. And let me get a drink. Speaking of not suffering, let me get a drink right now to alleviate that suffering. Alright, listen. It's totally bogus. It's totally fucked up. And the artificial room does a little bit to help stop that. And the thing that I believe in, and the thing that I've given my life for, is the shattering of the glass ceiling, the glass dome, and the total breakthrough of humanity and breaking free of humanity from this absolute hell that we have been trapped in, that you call this country, and we have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose from kind of accepting the Luciferian philosophy and allowing in a certain type of spirit of darkness, because you're already in darkness. You are living in darkness. There is no hell. You should raise hell. You want to raise hell? Hell yeah, because there is no hell left to raise, because you are living and standing right in the center and at the pinnacle of hell. You are in hell, and America is the pinnacle of that hell. And there is nothing left to lose by fucking experimenting and attempting to do something different. And what I am talking about is humanity ascending to the mount of congregation, to ascend, to reach our peak in our potential of human life before we go extinct on this planet. Because again, all species go extinct. And you're worried about destroying the planet, and I'm not saying don't worry about that, because we are harming the planet, and what we are doing is messing up things, and we're killing other species of animals. And I found out something that made me feel better about my life and about my species, was that we actually didn't kill the dodo bird. I just found that out, and it was something to do with the Mandela effect, but we didn't do that. Rats and monkeys ate their eggs, and that's what happened to the dodo bird. I was always very bummed out because I thought human beings had something to do with it, but we didn't, so it's a good thing. Okay, but the point is, anyway, we reach our fucking peak and reach our fucking potential, and I can't even remember what chapter of this fucking cult I was on, because I'm just literally, like, I could write 1,000-page books, like, many of them, about some of my ideas. Like, I have so thoroughly thought this shit out and so went into detail about so much of this shit. Like, it's I don't know, but I want to reach the peak before we go extinct. And here's where I was. I want to reach the peak of humanity's existence before we go extinct. And I do want to go to, because the Earth has been here billions of years before us, and it would be billions of years after. But if we're not careful, we will not. But I want to see humanity go to space and go to the moon and colonize other planets, and just to extend to wherever. And here we go. All right. And just like this, extend to wherever. But we can't not do that. We can't do that. We cannot do that doing what the fuck we're doing here. And it is not right for us to go to another planet that may potentially, by the way, have other living beings on those planets, if we cannot fucking even get our shit straight here. We are running from our problems here, and it is not right to leave this planet and these animals in this shape before we can get our shit together. We have got to straighten shit out, this fucking dump that we have been in, before we can goddamn go somewhere else and then fuck them up. No, if we can't straighten this up, we deserve to die. We deserve to go extinct. And if we cannot straighten our shit out on this earth, if we cannot straighten our shit out on this earth, we deserve to go extinct. We have got to learn to come to terms with and deal with our fucking problems. And we're not doing that. But I want to see one gender, one race, one language, one sexual orientation, one nation, one species. Fuck everything else. Peace 666.